Alright, first day on the job is nice of Hyrule. I'm waiting for a long time to do the job, it's gonna be cool.
I can't believe they accepted us for. I mean, look, we're just two normal Joe Schmoes guys with you with this nice steel katana and this wooden sword. Really?
What the hell is that?
What the fuck?
Screw this, Zelda can handle this shit.
Fuck it, I'm gonna get some Arby's.
Welcome to yet another episode of It's Those Guys Game Reviews. We're back one more time!
Yay.
I guess, I just felt like doing that for some reason. Today's game we're reviewing is Hyrule Warriors for the Nintendo Wii.
Oh, wait a minute. You mean it's not Dynasty Hyrule?
Well, have you ever played a Dynasty Warriors game? Actually, yes.
Not all the way through, but I'm familiar with the concept.
Exactly. So think about that just with Zelda characters.
And no voices, but a narrator.
It's a very annoying narrator, actually. But let's go ahead and get started on this thing. The game starts as most games in the series do, with Zelda having a nightmare about a coming evil. She tells Impa about it, and they already assume that it's time to find the one who will wear the green clothes of legend and help save the world.
Hey.
No. It's not you. But anyway, I think it is kind of nice at this time, like, Zelda and Impa are finally self-aware that something's going on, and they're always supposed to be... Actually, now that I think about it, it's like everybody except Link knows he's like the legend guy. Did you ever notice that?
I know.
Everybody else is like self-aware of this shit, and Link is always like taken by surprise. Like,
it's inconceivable, I know.
As the evil forces attack in what is probably the most badass arrival of villains in Zelda history ever, Link, a soldier in training, decides to lead a charge against the advancing horde. Long story short, Zelda disappears, Sheik shows up to help fight the evil, and a witch named Sia hatches a plan to resurrect a dark being. Zelda disappears, Sheik shows up, and a dark being that somebody is trying to resurrect. Yeah, it's a Zelda game, alright. Those familiar with Dynasty Warrior type games should know what to expect here. You take control of a character leading an army facing hordes of enemies, this time with a Zelda skin over it. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it's actually kind of interesting seeing established Zelda characters outside of their original settings.
So wait a minute, you mean I can play as more people than Link? That's right, Impa carries with her a giant friggin' sword, and Sheik fights with a harp, and many more characters will join you over the course of the game, including Darunia, who fights with a hammer, and Ruto, who fights with... What does she fight with? A scale? She just fights with a scale.
It is kind of cool to actually, for once, play as other Zelda characters. I mean, every Zelda game you're always playing as Link, or in like, for 5 minutes you're playing as Kathai. But anyway... What? Never mind. Well, it's kind of neat because they have different powers and stuff like that. It's really cool, and it's nice to just finally be able to play as other characters and not just Link all the time. Hey, don't get me wrong, I like playing as Link, but it kind of like... It'd be really cool if they implemented this in other games, where you don't always have to play as Link all the time. You can pick like another character to play as, or whatever, but within more of the Zelda-type gameplay, instead of more like the Dynasty Warriors-type gameplay. But... it's a start.
This game, it finally introduces that. Probably the only game in the Zelda franchise that probably ever will.
It's a start. Controls are simple, but can lead to a variety of combinations. You have your basic and strong attacks that you can combo together for some devastating results, as well as a super move meter that when it builds, you can unleash a long-range field attack. You can build up the meter by attacking enemies. As you play, you can take over parts of the field from enemies. In some instances, this is plot important, and in other purely optional. But taking over parts of the field can cause treasure chests to pop up, where you can collect extra weapons and even heart pieces. By unlocking weapons, you can use different ones for the characters. It's a pretty interesting concept that allows for many different fighting possibilities. As you play on the fields, you can collect item materials from defeated enemies and so forth. By gathering these materials, you can upgrade the characters and their weapons, as well as enhance their armor. The materials can be used to craft badges that you can equip to characters that can boost their attack and defense. You can also combine weapon abilities to make them more powerful.
It's also worth mentioning that if you've got way too many weapons on hand, you could, out of each of them have like a different build. You could all combine them together to make like one super weapon. Don't find yourself. I didn't find myself doing that a lot, but when I could, it was pretty alright. It was good.
While the game lacks an online multiplayer mode, shame on you, Nintendo, it does offer a co-op mode that takes advantage of the gamepad. One player can play on the TV while the other plays on the gamepad. So yeah, even though there's no online mode, which was a huge mistake to leave out, Nintendo, I blame you for that. You can go ahead. You can play on the gamepad. One person on the gamepad and one person's on the TV. However, on the gamepad, it's not. You can tell that. I mean, it's not as the graphics don't look as good on the gamepad as they do on the TV. However, the multiplayer had another issue, which I felt like need to bring up, is the game. It's not exactly made. Even though you can play two-player, it's not made with two-player in mind. And the reason I say that is because say I'm playing as Link. Alright, and he's playing as Zelda. The game, however, treats it like the second player really isn't there. So the person playing Zelda doesn't count because Zelda is still on the screen, and if the objective is don't let Zelda get knocked out or whatever.
In other words, you're standing right next to a copy of
even if
yourself.
the other guy's playing as Zelda, it doesn't count. So there's another Zelda on the field, and AI controls Zelda, and if that Zelda gets knocked out, you lose. Whether the other Zelda, second player, is playing or not. When you're not playing as Link, because you don't have to all the time, you can actually have an AI Link and you play other characters, it does the same thing. So say I'm Impa and he's Sheik. Impa and Sheik are still on the screen as separate AI characters, and if anything happens to them, and the objective is them to, like, if anything happens to them and it causes a game over, it's going to happen anyway. So I think that's something they should have thought about, but they didn't. So it is kind of an annoyance, but at the same time, it's really not that bad, but I think it's something they should have thought about.
As far as the multiplayer goes, though, it's better than split screen.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it allows you to cover the base more because sometimes you got to be in two places at once. And believe it or not,
it makes the story mode easier.
That is a pain in the ass to do as one player because sometimes I remember there's one stage where you're just one person, but you got to take out two targets at the same time, and it can get messy.
The game has various other modes as well, such as Adventure Mode and Challenge Mode. In Adventure Mode, you can unlock various weapons in the character bios while fulfilling the conditions set in the levels. In Challenge Mode, you also have to fulfill certain conditions to progress, as well as try and complete the various challenges they throw at you while you're playing. Warriors may not bring anything new to these type of games, but it does bring lots of fun and allows you to play as Zelda characters in a new setting, and it works great.
So yeah, it's still a pretty decent game. I mean, if you like Dynasty Warriors, if
you love Dynasty Warriors, you're going to love this game.
You're going to like this game, especially if you like Dynasty Warriors and Zelda, because it just combines the two, and it works out really well.
And the locations in this game actually look pretty nice.
Yeah, I just like I said, I like the fact that you can play as Zelda characters in different forms, and I kind of like that they're all working together. Like, you see scenes where they're all together. It was kind of cool. I'd like to kind of see, maybe in the future Zelda game, I know it'll never happen, but have some kind of party system where Link's not by himself. Not like RPG style or turn-based, but something like that. I think it'd be really cool, along with the multiplayer aspect. Just more Zelda-type game and less Dynasty Warriors type game. However, one of the best parts of this game is the fact that you can play as Ganon.
Evil! You can play as an evil guy!
Now look, I know this is not a big surprise at this point. Everybody who played this game by now knows you can play as Ganon. It's not like a big secret. But it is still one of the most fun experiences you will have playing this game.
He duels swords, he's Shadow Elemental, it's just fun to see what he can, it's just fun to play as, he's just fun to play as.
Ganon is the fucking beast that you would expect him to be if you actually got to play as him. It's kind of fun to actually play as a bad guy this time, but it's pretty cool. And what kind of pisses me off about it is like when you're playing as Ganon, the other bad guys are there, but you can't really play as them unless it's part of the DLC or something you can get.
Yeah, well, you got those characters back in fleet.
I did something and I unlocked a bunch of the villains. There's some villains that I think they made up for this game too, or they were another game I don't remember.
Volga and Wizro.
Yeah, I think they were kind of like...
Although I'm pretty sure Volga means river in Russian.
But he was a pretty cool character. You can play as him later on eventually. So a pretty cool game, and
it's pretty.
Not bad.
It's pretty funny though because you're playing as Ganon. You can actually play as Link. You can take.
Yeah, you can actually. There's a scene.
You actually have to take over Hyrule in a certain chapter. You could be playing Ganon. Like your buddy could be playing as Link, and it'd be just one of the most backwards things ever.
I think it's a weird thing. Like unless you have Shadow Link, then I guess it could make sense. But the story is actually, I mean, confusing it is, and it's stuff from the other games. I think they did a good job of. I think I've seen more character development in this game than I've seen in an actual Zelda game, especially the part where Link is getting all kind of overconfident and cocky, and they actually bring that up and it makes like Dark Link happen, and it shows like, oh, we're here for you and stuff like that.
And we find out that one of this game's villains are obsessed with Link on a very disturbing
Oh my
level.
god, Sia, she just must have like, I think it showed it. She's got like, she's obsessed with this. You go to her field and it's like big statues of Link and stuff like that, and she just wants to fuck him.
It's just
you
like,
can tell.
It's like Artie Zip in The Simpsons.
It's kind of weird. You wouldn't
It's
see this.
exactly like Artie Zip from The Simpsons. He's got pictures of Marge all over the place. She's got pictures of, and Sia's got pictures of Link all over the place. It's just like, what the fuck? And out in the garden, there's actually statues and hedges shaped as him.
Yeah, Nintendo really, they sneak that kind of shit in there. I mean, you think, oh, Nintendo fan friendly thing. They sneak the.
We all know Nintendo can get very dark when they want to.
Yeah, I mean, after all, they had prostitution in Zelda 2, but that's a different story. But anyway,
Not to mention, their villain Sia is a bit open.
she got some tits. All right, let's go ahead and say that, and you can almost see them.
You get boob shots a lot.
Practically covering her. Oh, it focuses on the chest a lot.
I'm gonna say that was someone from Team Ninja though.
I think you go through half the fucking game before you realize she even has a head, because it just didn't show her face. It was like
I think that was Team Ninja doing.
And below.
Team Ninja's doing.
Yeah, but Nintendo allowed it. They could have probably said, let's scale that back. And one more thing I can go before we put this to a close is the music, which is basically
Rock renditions.
I don't want to say rock renditions, but they are very good
Metal.
remixes. It's close, not even close to metal. Maybe more rock than metal. But it was still a pretty just badass the way they do the Hyrule Field song at one point, and the timing they do it is just awesome. I mean, I love this game. I love playing it. It does have its flaws, don't get me wrong. It's not a perfect game, but it's definitely one of the better games I played on the Wii U since the damn thing came out, and I just had a lot of fucking fun with this, especially with the co-op mode, which I thought worked really well, except for the few grievances I mentioned before. So I'm going to go ahead and give this game an A-, because it was a really good job. It gives me... I think there's ideas in here they should implement in future Zelda games, and I think it just works pretty good, and it looked great, and they really handled the characters very well. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
I give it an 8. I love it. You can beat the crap out of everything. You can beat the crap out of hordes of enemies. If you're feeling up for a bit of a challenge, you can play adventure mode or challenge mode to get a bigger fix to the game. You might find some difficulties as you progress with the adventure mode because it does get harder as you progress.
And that's when, like, especially you want to try to go do co-op more. But all in all, great game. If you got a Wii U, definitely check this shit out.
And now, we wait for Smash.
Right. So we will see you guys next time.